Every semester, students come to the Albert and Shirley Small Special Collections Library to find out about Black Greek fraternities and sororities at the University of Virginia. Because of their frequent visits, we've created a guide to find these materials. This guide refers them to the university archives, which include information from 1973 to 2004 on Black Greek organizations. Black Greeks at the University of Virginia, the early years, will give a snapshot of some of the growth, accomplishments, and struggles of these collegiate organizations during their first decade and a half on grounds. In a 1973 letter, Assistant Dean of Students Linwood Jacobs writes Charles Chambliss congratulating him on the founding of a Mega Psi Phi fraternity. He states, "Now that the Qs have been established, it seems natural that the Alphas, Kappas, and Sigmas and others will follow your lead. There's little doubt in my mind that founders Love, Cooper, Coleman, and Just would be proud of your efforts to bring to the young men of the University of Virginia an opportunity heretofore not available." In fact, he was right. The Dean of Students' records include letters from most Black fraternity and sororities' national and regional offices, inquiring about the possibility of establishing chapters at the university. During fall 1973, Jacobs writes another congratulatory letter. This one is to Sheila Hardy, president of UVA's Delta Sigma Theta sorority chapter. It states, "It is my feeling that your organization has the potential to make a major contribution and perhaps add a dimension to student life not previously realized by Black women at the university." Over the next 7 years, 8 of the 9 Pan-Hellenic Council's historically Black fraternities and sororities were represented on grounds. In 2 of these cases, Zeta Phi Beta and Sigma Gamma Rho sororities, we see the evolution of the sorority's founding in full recognition at the university. In the latter case, young women were part of the Aurora colony for a probationary period, and then finally, Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, Theta Lambda chapter. From the onset of their national foundings, these organizations valued service as one of their tenets. Service is literally infused in many of their mission statements, purposes, and mottos. The records show that from their existence at the University of Virginia, Black sororities and fraternities have created programs and projects to help the Charlottesville, Albemarle, and university communities. In 1975, Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity was chosen as co-winner of the Interfraternity Council's Community Service Award. The next year, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity was the recipient of the same award and won several more years in a row. In 1985, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority was awarded both the Outstanding Chapter Service and Outstanding Chapter Programming awards. Here are more examples of service. UVA's Black Greek organizations were committed to service. That commitment did not preclude fun. These organizations served as an important social function for the Black student community through discos and block shows. Discos, of course, were DJ'd parties, and block shows were the showcasing of fraternity and sorority colors, step performances, and chants. Block shows were so big that the winners received official congratulations from the Office of Dean of Students. According to the record, block shows, including practice and the actual performances, initially occurred in the chemistry building. However, this arrangement was not without problems. It seems that the beakers and gas burners of the chemistry lab could not hold up to the heavy and loud reverberations of block show practices and performances. In a letter from the Dean of Students to the chair of the chemistry department, he states, Thank you for your letter of June 24, 1980, in which you informed me that the chemistry building would no longer be available to student activities such as block shows. I can understand the feeling that the chemistry building is first and foremost an academic building, and any activity that takes away from or disrupts the academic pursuits should cease. Students and non-students alike jammed discos thrown by Black Greek organizations. Many went off without a hitch, but sometimes there were conflicts between fraternities. In an anonymous letter to the Dean of Students, evidence of a fraternity fight is revealed. Dean Canterbury, the Kappa Alpha Psi and Omega Psi Phi fraternities have recently engaged in gang-like fights. I'm speaking about the incident that occurred Saturday, September 28th at the disco. Outside of Newcomb Hall after the party, the Kappas and the Qs fought over an incident that happened the night before. On Friday, of Omega Psi Phi and of Kappa Alpha Psi had an argument and exchanged fists in a head-on fight. That's why Saturday night both members from both fraternities had a brawl. Their chapter charter should be suspended immediately. Challenges arose as Black Greek organizations took root at the University of Virginia. There were misperceptions by some on grounds that these organizations were discriminatory because they were labeled Black. In an undated letter by Charles Chambliss of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, he voices his frustrations with these reactions and refutes the charge. He states, "While there has been no conscious effort to exclude whites, the appeal of organizations to blacks may be attributed to several very obvious factors. These organizations have in common many strong ties with the Black community. To explain Black Greek culture to their white counterparts and diminish misunderstandings, they formed a Black Greek subcommittee and held an informational workshop on pledging." The documents shown here give just a glimpse of the early years of UVA's Black Greek letter organizations. One can only imagine what a researcher 100 years from now will think when they look back at these records. How will they judge and interpret the records? How will they influence the legacy? How will they write history's tale? And who will bear witness to it?